notorious gangsters, cop killers, hitmen, and terrorists. These are the type of people I was living with when I was 21-year-old when I got sent to Franklin maximum security prison. Because when I was 21, I got sentenced to IPP, 99 years, life imprisonment, because I was a violent offender. So I got sent to Franklin because of my violent nature, put high security in a maximum security prison. But yeah, my time in there, I spent 3 years in there, and I'll just mention some of the people that I was living with. Like what I've just mentioned there, gangsters, hitmen, cop killers. There's one person that I met whilst I was in Franklin, who when you just looked at him, you could just tell he was a fucking absolute lunatic. Obviously he's a lunatic for what he was in for. He's well, he was called David Bieber. If you Google him, a lot of you'll probably remember him. He shot a copper dead. I think it was on Christmas Day. He was there, did I forget if I just said that? American he is, he was an American. I think he was on the run from, wanted by the FBI. And he was living over here, down Yorkshire. And he got pulled over this day, 2 coppers Christmas Day. And he was sitting in the back of the copper car. And he had a gun hidden on him. And he's pulled the gun out. I think he shot both the coppers. And then one of the coppers was on the floor begging for his life. And he just put the gun to his head and bang, just blew him away. And he was on his toes. He got caught up this end, up at Gateshead. And he got sent to Franklin. And that was the type of people that was in there at the time. But I remember when I was in the gym, I was training with him in the gym. And I remember talking to him and I looked at him. And his eyes, he just had no colour in his eyes. You see, like my eyes are like brown. His were just black. It looked like his pupil just covered his whole eye. He just looked like an absolute lunatic. Well, he was. But there was just nothing there when you looked at him. He was an absolute psychopath. But he was on G-Wing at the time. I was on F-Wing. Because in Franklin, at the time, you just had the 2 main wings at the top, which was F and G-Wing. And the rest of it was full of nonsense. You had A, B, C and D down the bottom end. They were all the nonsense. There was that many nonsense in there. Unbelievable. But getting back to that Bieber, he tried to arrange an escape from Franklin. He had access to a phone. And he rang his mate from the outside and he was trying to... he must have had some money out here, and he was saying to his mate, he says, look, I think it was something like 50 grand. He says, I'll give you 50 grand if you help us escape. So what he done was he was talking to his mate, and he told his mate to go and pay for a helicopter ride. Obviously, you can go and get private helicopter rides. He said, go and get a helicopter and fly over the prison and drop a net down, start letting off shots to the screws if they try and grab him. So his mate must have thought, what sort of fucking thing am I getting myself involved in here? So his mate has went to the News of the World. News of the World isn't being discontinued now, but at the time it was News of the World. So what he's done was his mate, who he thought was his mate, must have sold the phone to the News of the World and put them in touch and said, listen, I've got another contact here who's going to help you arrange your escape out of prison. So when he's ringing up and he's phoning, thinking he's speaking to his mate's accomplice, he's actually speaking to a reporter of News of the World who's recording everything, obviously passing the info on to the police. So obviously when it come out in the paper, Bieber got put in stripes. It's called stripes. It's like they sometimes call it a banana suit as well. It's like yellow and blue joggy bottoms and top, so they can tell you're an escape risk. But another bloke that got pulled in with that was Colin Gunn from Nottingham, another big time player, notorious criminal, from proper big gangster. I remember my pal who was in there as well. He had a picture of Colin up on his wall, and Colin had He was leaning on his car, and he had the private number plate on power, and that was Colin's car. I forget what car it was. I think it was a Porsche or something like that. But Colin, he had nothing to do with that. But I think at the time he was associating with David Bieber on the wing. So what they done was they thought Colin was involved in it. But these phone calls that David Bieber was having to the reporter, they said, what happens if any of the screws try to run onto the auto, try and grab you? He said, listen, just lay down the fucking fire, killed a lot of them. This is how serious he was, you know, he was absolute fruitcake. But like I say, Colin got roped in with it. So Colin ended up getting put in stripes as well. And they both got sent down to, I think it was Wood Hill unit. There's a Cartier unit in Wood Hill. It's like a prison inside of a prison. And they both got put on this unit together, and I'm sure they were on it for about nearly 2 years. And it was, like I say, it was just David Bieber and Colin. But there was just them two on the unit, and I remember someone telling us, because my other friend in Franklin was actually writing to Colin at the time, and he said, listen, he says, this fucking mug is getting me involved in this. He says it's got nothing to do with me, so he's now stuck in that unit with him. And they weren't speaking, so imagine that, being on the unit, only them two on the unit, and they're not even speaking to each other. So imagine what that must have been like, stuck in that environment. Like for Colin, being stuck in that environment with that Bieber. That Bieber's roped him in with it when it's got nothing to do with Colin. They're stuck down there. I think Colin was going to do him in, set about him. I think he spent about, I'm sure it was went into double figures month-wise, like 18 months, 20 months or something like that on the unit before he got moved off the unit, Colin. And I'm not sure what happened with that Bieber. But that was the type of people I was living with when I was a 21-year-old. But I was always fascinated with these type of people when I was a young'un. Obviously, not now, since I've like matured. But when you're in that mindset, when you're a kid, when you grow up in that environment, like everything's glamorized. Far back, like that, what's that film? Goodfellas. As far back as I can remember, I always wanted to be a gangster. So I'm like growing up loving these type of people. Not like David Bieber, not like loving cop killers, but I mean like big gangsters and that, and fucking loving what they had, and just, yeah, a lot of people will understand what I mean. Like when you're a kid and you've brought up in that environment, like you look up to people like that. So obviously when I'm stuck in there, 21-year-old, I'm surrounded with all these people. I was loving it, meeting all these different type of gangsters from all over the place. But that was the mindset I was in. But if you keep updated, if you like me, if you do like me content, click like and subscribe to my channel, and I will be putting more videos on about inside of prison, the different people that I met, prison stories. Like, I've got loads of tales of all the different people I met in Franklin. But if you keep, like I say, if you subscribe to the channel, keep an eye out. A couple of days time, I'm going to release another video about some notorious paedophile that was in Franklin, that horrible child killer, that I was that far away from getting my hands on the horrible bastard. But I'm going to upload that video in a few days. If you want to subscribe to my channel, like I've just said, I've just repeated that, but never mind. Enjoy the rest of your day, people.